Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Nelson, you're watching Nature Nell, and if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. And for you guys that have been my followers, sorry I've been away for quite a while, but I really am enjoying the time off. We've been working very diligently here at the ranch. Lots of projects going on, multiple projects at the same time. Everything's looking good. My orchids are doing great after the big cleanup that I did a summer cleanup of actually 4 years of collecting orchids that some of them were just not pulling through, and it was time to make space for the ones that are growing and doing well. So everything in there is doing amazing. Flowers everywhere for being such a crazy hot and wet summer. Today's probably one of the few days we have sun, and that's the only time I usually get to bring you guys a video. So without further ado, let's go look at some blooms. All right guys, let's start where we usually start, which is right here in front of my greenhouse slash workshop. It's where it all began. This started as a small little workshop years ago with my father. We inherited the property several years ago. It's a ranch down in South Florida by the agricultural area. And my dad had a vision, or my stepfather, he raised us, had a vision of this area becoming something really big someday. And it actually has. I mean, there's a lot of growth in this area, and it's not what it used to be. It's not such a far away, lonely place as it used to be. So after we acquired it, we kind of did upgrades here in the whole yard. This is all crops. And I'm speaking to my newbies. I know a lot of you guys that follow me know my backstory, but I know a lot of new people been asking me and wanting to know the backstory. So this is pretty much it. They grew crops here. So my vision was to turn the crop area into a botanical garden, not just trees that give fruits, as you can see, but also in the bottom, all sorts of exotics and Hoyas underneath. And then my love and passion for orchids, we built a greenhouse adjacent to the work area, which I will take you in a little while. Right here is my cactus collection. But look at this right here. Look at this beauty. This is my very first all-white Cattleya that I have that blooms for me beautifully like this. It is such an absolute gorgeous white. The only area that is not white is in that center of the labellum, or the lip, which is slightly yellow, but wow, what a crispy flower. And this came from Orchids in Bloom. It's called White Reception, Cattleya. And I picked this baby up, I believe it was when I went to Apopka, and I had told Terry, you know, I don't have an all-white Cattleya, and I've always wanted one. And lo and behold, you know, this whole summer has been all surprises, because I don't know if you can hear it in my, when I speak, I have to catch my breath because the humidity factor here is like 90. So the humidity goes into your lungs when you're speaking a lot, and so you lose some of the it's like being up high in a mountain. Right next to it is this beautiful Dendrobium that has been blooming for the past 3 wets and blooms. I don't have the name. Man, I think I had the tag on this, but I did lose a lot of tags in the summer because of the heavy rains, and the winds here are just insane. Now here is a Jamie, is it James Story? Not Renanthera, but I always confuse these. Renanthera, yeah, Renanthera. This was a gift from my good friend Maria. Maria, mira que lindo está. Tú me regalaste esto. Look how big this thing has gotten. So what I'm gonna do, guys, sometimes this happens when they acclimate, they lose a lot of leaves. So what happens is new roots grow. So what I'm gonna do is cut it right here and bring this thing all the way down, because I don't need all that branching down there. So if you have one of these sun orchids, that's how you kind of like reduce their size. If they lose a lot of leaves and then they produce new roots, you can cut right under those roots. But look at what a gorgeous flower this is. Now Maria is someone I did a home visit, and I am wanting to do more home visits soon. It's just too hot to go to people's homes, guys. Here in Miami, especially in this area, you have no idea. Like right now, me recording this, the sun is literally right on top of me. And it feels like I am frying, but I have to do it, because if not, I won't have anything for you till till October, which is a Redland show. So let's go in here. And by the way, there's a lot of spikes everywhere. I've been seeing lots of spikes coming out. So it's going to be a promising fall. Now here is a cochleata. This is one of my favorite little monkeys in the orchid world, because it just sets itself aside from all the other orchids. First of all, it looks like a clam. It's also known as a clamshell orchid. It's is it encyclia or epidemic? No, it's an encyclia. I think this is what this is. I can't remember. I'll put the name on the bottom like I always do. And it's such a cool looking orchid. It's just different from all the ones. And what I like is that the way you view this orchid is labellum up. No one really looks at this way, because that's really the way you look at an orchid. But this one, when you look at it, it makes more sense like this. Great colors in that labellum, cranberry and yellow, which are my favorite. So I was saying there's a lot of little surprises here, like this up here. This I got from a Brazilian company called, here, let's see, make it easier for me. That's what that is. And this is like the second or third time it blooms for me. I want to make sure I don't put these loose, because that's how it gets lost. And let me get over here. Look at that, how pretty. I got this at Mount's Botanical Garden, a beautiful, beautiful botanical garden in West Palm Beach. They have reached out to me to see if I would be willing to do some talks. And they gave me a bunch. I have to respond to them. I'm telling you guys, this summer was very different for me. It was one that I had to pay attention to a lot of things that I put on the back burner. So everything orchid had to take a back seat. And I haven't been able to respond to emails. I have a bunch of emails that come in. I get a lot of emails on a daily. So I can't really respond to every single person. It makes it difficult for me. And one thing I don't realize is that even though I don't do videos, people are still watching my videos and sending me messages. So even though I am taking a little break, it's not really a break. I've still responded to some of you guys. Now this is one that you guys have seen many, many times. The lime sherbet, which is a Brassavola crossed with a key lime. I'll put it underneath. See what happens when you take a little vacation? You forget a lot of things. And this smells amazing at night. Oh my God, it smells so good. And I've had this for quite a while. She's grown beautifully on that mount. And always has a gorgeous display of flowers. I love when it shoots out multiple spikes and just blooms at the same time. It really is gorgeous. And there's something about a green flower that is just so pretty, right? I like it a lot. Just like this one. This is another Brassavola mix with Cattleya schilleriana. It's a wonderful, wonderful fragrant orchid. It usually gives me several. Not too long ago it had, let me pull back a little bit. Not too long ago it had quite a display, but this time it kind of, you know, sorry guys, I got a call and I forgot to put it on airplane mode. So anyways, sometimes it does give you a beautiful display of several flowers, and the fragrance is just outrageous. Now this right here has been blooming for quite a while. I did showcase it in the last What's in Bloom. Might as well show you now on 4K, which is, and the reason I'm doing 4K is only because one of the projects I've been doing for several weeks now is organizing all my images and all my videos, putting them under separate categories so I can have them on file, which is something I hadn't done since I started doing this channel. And I really needed to organize myself and make space on my phone because it was just way too much information in there. And I got to tell you, it's almost like I have a brand new phone because I downloaded everything into my computer. Well, at least most of it, not everything, but most of what I recorded in the past 4 years, or should I say 3 years. I haven't even gotten to this year's yet. But anyway, I decided let me do a 4K and see how beautiful that looks, showing all the blooms. And at least from my end right here, it looks really pretty. This is a Pilcata, which is a gorgeous encyclia from my friends over at Hamlin. Unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate, but it's unfortunate for us orchid collectors. They retired. The company is no longer in existence, but his son, Philip, I'm trying to do this without hurting the poor orchid. His son, Philip, runs their own orchid company over at Apopka, Florida, with his wife, Liz. They're wonderful people. And if you ever want some type of orchid like this, they do carry it, because they do carry, I believe, most of what his father had in the nursery, or at least they can probably acquire it. And you can reach him. They're Brethren Orchids. And I usually put my information of orchid vendors. I usually put them underneath in my description box. So if you guys ever want an orchid vendor, go to my previous videos, especially my hauls or my what's in bloom, and I usually, maybe not all the time, but I usually do put the vendors that I'm showcasing in that video. Look, all these spikes, guys. This is going to be a massive party. This is the showtime, and it's going to be a showtime. This, ever since I put showtime here, it's like, it just loves it. All right. So here, this is the prize winner of my greenhouse this summer. Look at my bat plant, guys. I am so impressed at how much it's given. I mean, it's become a really big plant. And I did cut a lot from the bottom. I've learned that the more you cut, the more energy goes to producing pods. It's just an absolute beautiful flower. This is the black bat flower. And this plant is relative to the yucca family, I believe, or the yam. I think it's yucca. It's a very gorgeous tropical plant. And the flower itself is just so exotic with those tentacles that look almost jellyfish-like. So as you guys know, ever since I started my channel, I've had this plant. And it's been one of my, I would say, longest lasting plants that I own here at the ranch. I own many. And this is one. I had two. The first one, I didn't do well with it. It died. So I got a second one, and this one did very well. I learned from the first one, and I'm so happy that she loves it here. And she is the queen of the greenhouse. That's why she's in the center while everyone is around her. All right, guys, let's see what else we got. Now those who know. This is one of the most beautiful flowers. It's called the Holy Ghost flower, or if you want to know the scientific name, is Peristeria alata. And it's such an amazing fragrance flower. It smells like a very strong gardenia type of fragrance, or jasmine, but yet not fully that fragrance, just an essence of that. I love it. It smells throughout the whole entire greenhouse. As soon as you walk in, it hits you in the face. And it's been giving me so many flowers in the past few years that I've had it. This was an orchid that I bought from Sierra Madre over in Apopka when I went to the Orlando Orchid Festival. And Mr. C had this. He only had one. He had it on top of his table. And I had no idea what the flower was. And I go, oh, what an interesting orchid, terrestrial orchid. I love the leaves. And he's like, oh, yeah, there's a Parasteriolata, the Holy Ghost flower. It's the national flower of Panama. It has a white pigeon in the center. And I'm like, no way. When he pulled it on the phone, I was like, I need to have this. So I bought this for $100. It was the best $100 I've ever spent. And they have gone up a lot in prices. These orchids tend to be on the pricier side, but wow, are they so rewarding. Every year I get those beautiful flowers. Now, do you guys see straight over there what I see? My cranberry and yellow. Yep, one of my favorite Vandas. And for you guys that know, it's because of the color tone. I love those two colors together. It is just such a spectacular contrast between the cranberry red and that mustardy yellow. And this comes from Dan and Margie. It's called a Painter's Dream cross with a Kawadi fragrance. There we go. I'll put it underneath so you guys can take notes and get yourself one, because this is probably one of the best Vandas that blooms a lot. It's very strong. It's a very strong Vanda. And as you can see, look, these are all spikes from previous blooms. Down here, as you guys can take a little peek on my bulbophyllums, they're all doing wonderful. I did have a little bit of a disaster up here, so you guys can see. We still haven't fixed this part here. We have all the material to do it, but I'm telling you, we've been so busy we haven't had time. So unfortunately, a couple of orchids did get damaged. I had to move some to the another area, and look, this is what happened. The sun got to the leaves and burned them. So I'm very sad about that, but she doesn't seem to be too worried about it. Look at the beautiful flowers it gave me. Now this is Amazing Thailand. It's always giving me flowers. It's a really, really nice bloomer. This came from Pam over at Orchids in Bloom. And I think this year it's giving me like 3 cycles of bloom already, or 2 cycles. And this is still opening because they just started opening, but look how pretty they are. Those colors are just, and when it gives you 1 flower, it's one really big flower. If it gives you 2, they tend to be on the smaller side, which I don't mind, because the colors are so pretty that when you see multiple ones like that, it's just gorgeosos. Very gorgeosos. And you guys want to see something really gorgeosos? Look at this sea breeze. Wow! Look at this Cattleya. That's a sea breeze cross with a Lori McNeil, Hawaii. And I got this from Mr. Tan from Springwater Orchids many years ago, about, I would say 4 years ago, because right when I started the channel. And he had this pretty nice sized Cattleya for $120, I think it was. And it was kind of hiding towards the back. Nobody had seen it. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take it. And I got that big cork that you see in the back right there over at the OFE's booth. And I put it together, and I got to say, man, this is just one of those that just worked. You know, like when you get it right, you say, oh, everything just worked perfect. That piece was there. The cork was the perfect size cork. It was a beautiful sized Cattleya, and it smells delicious, by the way. It's constantly blooming. Well, let me not say it's constantly blooming. Let me correct that. it blooms in a lot of flowers in its blooming cycle. When it's its blooming cycle, it always blooms. That's what I really meant to say, because it doesn't bloom all year round. But it's just pretty. Is that cerulean color in there? It's just Oh man, I miss the shows. You know, I am enjoying the time off, but I got to tell you, I do miss the shows, and I miss being out with Terry, and I miss our crazy moments, and I miss all that. You know, it's like I could use the time off, and I'm enjoying the time off, and so is she, because I'm sure she is enjoying it as well. But we're all missing it in our orchid club. You know, Bubblies and Orchid, Melissa, Wendy, Roxy, Marley, Laz, Blanca, myself, Terry. You know, we're all like constantly talking on our group chat. And Judier, sorry Judier, he's the youngest one there. And Joanna, speaking of Joanna, boom, she gave me this. This was that beautiful gift that she brought to OFEs in one of my episodes, where they, Carlos of OFEs teaches you how to divide an orchid, and she divided this massive Brassavola cross and gave each one of us a cutting. And this thing just grew so well. Carlos actually put this together for me. Look at this. Look at the roots on this thing. And this was like a year ago, maybe? Yeah, I think it was a year ago. I think that was the day that Joanna and the group really bonded, and we started like all hanging out together. It was very cool. And so this flower and this orchid means a lot, because it represents that day. You know, it's a very special day. And it's a Brassavola nudosa crossed with a Cattleya, I can never say this name, Ludeminiana Nana. Julian, where are you? Julian says it's perfect. Ludeminiana. I can't say it. That's as good as it gets, guys. Okay, look, I do the best I can. That's why we have tags and editing. So anyways, she's turned really beautiful for such a young cutting. It's just really gorgeous. Thank you, Joanna. This is a beautiful gift. And speaking of gifts, this gorgeous Orchids 365 3D printed basket with a ring on the bottom to allow the roots to come out, plus a sitting base so your Vanda could sit. And then you get this gorgeous combination of tones that work so well with the basket. This was something that I was talking with Roxy about, and she wanted to do something that, you know, the roots can hang out. So it was the first of its kind. And she says, I don't want the whole thing to be open, because she already has those. She says, I want something where it could actually sit. And I really like it, because the top roots actually sit, if you can see, sits on the edges. So it doesn't allow the Vanda to drop through the hole. And it kind of keeps it steady. Now I did put it like this because it was kind of bending. And I wanted, you know, my OCD was like, no, you gotta bring it this way. But it is a perfect basket. I love this basket for this Vanda. It just works perfectly. And several of her baskets against my orchids look like they were designed for the orchids. Now this one here, I have to be careful because I don't look down, and I have these big things here. So here, let's make it easier. Yeah, this will be better. This is my Bangkok Sunset Yellow. Another heavy bloomer. If you guys want Vandas that bloom a lot, this is one that you can put in your collection. And it not only is it beautiful colors that look fake, it looks like something out of the movie Avatar, but the fragrance is just amazing. So this is, for me, if I'm gonna rate this Vanda, I would rate this a 10 out of 10, only because number one is compact. As you can see, it's not one that grows too much. The roots do get a little bit long, but they don't get heavy like other Vandas. The plant itself kind of stays compact for most of its life cycle, at least from what I've seen. I've had this now for 3 years, and it's pretty much the same size of when I got it. And it blooms continuously. This one has, let me see. 1, 2, 3. It had more, but I keep cutting the ones in between. 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like 8, 7 or 8. Yeah, 8 with that one. So it blooms a lot in its blooming cycle, and it is a gorgeous color. It gives you lots of flowers, and the fragrance is just absolutely incredibly good. So this to me is one of those that you definitely should have in your collection if you're collecting Vandas, because you're going to be very happy with it. It's very strong Vanda. All right, guys, let's see. And here are some more of my Orchids 365 baskets. This one is a gorgeous flower. It's and my last What's in Bloom. If you guys go there, you'll see, let me pull back a little bit. This 4K shooting is so much different than my when I'm shooting it normal. The focusing and everything changes a bit. All right, guys, so I think we're done in the greenhouse. These are doing great, but unfortunately they only last. If you guys want to see these flowers, go to my previous What's in Bloom, and you'll see a little an inset of it opened. Now in here are my Phalaenopsis. I keep them in here because it's not as bright. They don't like too much heavy sunlight because the leaves do start getting a little bit weird. They can get yellowy, they can get lanky, they can burn. I put this Grammatophyllum in here because this was a gift from Mr. C from Sierra Madre, and I will be damned if I kill this because it's been pouring rain and it was getting a lot of water, and they're not very happy under so much water. So I put it in here and it's doing great. It has a little bit of damage here from when I had it out there, but now it's doing great. I'm happy about that. Up here, I've shown these before, but I will keep showing them because my God, is this a beautiful, beautiful flower. This is called the Cornucervi Phalaenopsis. This came from Carl Smith, and I just wanted to catch it on 4K because, you know, I have shown this before, but it's such a waxy, shiny flower that it would be a shame not to catch it in detail and in 4K. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous flower. Now, Phalaenopsis, this would be a 10 out of 10. Why? I will tell you why. Here, let me, I think this heat and humidity is making me delirious. I'm sounding like a infomercial. Do you want to know why? I'll tell you why. With this Phalaenopsis, you get a bonus set of Ginsu knives. If you guys are 80s people, you know what I'm talking about. Now these bloom all the time. And when I mean all the time is like pretty much all the time. It gives a lot of flowers. The spikes, you never ever cut these spikes until they turn brown because it will produce flowers continuously. As they fall off, new ones come out. So you don't want to do that. And I always forget the name and I have to put it on the bottom. But there's a name for those spikes. I don't know why certain names for me, I just can't lock them in, you know? I don't know if that happens to you guys, that you can say it over and over again. With math, that's my problem with math. I can do math every day and practice it. And then the following day, it's like, how is that formula again? But this is really, really pretty flower. And cranberry and yellow. And they do have these in at Carl Smith. And I'm going to tell you, putting them here was the best thing I ever did. I got that idea from RF because they have the same one in this pot. And it grows, it'll start doing this. Let me see if I saw it the other day. Maybe it was a different one. Yeah, it was a different one. Where the roots start coming out of here and this whole thing gets filled with roots. But I mean, that takes a couple of years. Now down here is one that some of you always ask me about. Fairy Tale Joy Fairy Tale. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous little Phalaenopsis. It's a pyloric Phalaenopsis. Pyloric just means that this, the lip, this is the actual lip. Well, the adjacent petals that are right on top or in the side of the middle petal, these two petals are mimicking the lip, right? Where normally an orchid flower looks like this. And then these two leaves don't look like this. They look like the other, sorry, not leaves, petals. They look like the other petals. So this one, pyloric, means that these petals up here have been mutated to mimic the labellum, the lip. See, it looks exactly like it. And this is what's called a heavy pyloric or full pyloric, which means that all three petals look exactly the same or almost exactly the same. And it's so funny because this, I switched her from a different pot. She was hanging because she fell off, and then I put her here and she's doing the same thing. She likes the roots to be up here. I don't know how it does it, but it just grows upwards. Now this one, in case you guys want to know, is a Tejas Giant Amboinensis, Tejas Giant Phalaenopsis from Carl Smith. Another very popular must have in your collection, super hardy, has the same type of spikes where it produces flowers at the very end, and so you don't cut those spikes. You know, the word I keep thinking is inflorescent, which is not, because inflorescence means that it's several, you know, spikes of flowers. The word I'm looking for, I would have to go down the alphabet. And every time I edit it, it's when I remember. I'm like, why don't I remember at that moment? Right here, one of my favorite, let me go down here. This one's called a Bellina, hold on. Oh no, see, I just lost this one. I believe this is a Bellina fire shape. Bellina fire shape. I think that's what they call these. It smells very, very nice. Beautiful little flower. And a Phalaenopsis. Great ombre effect there with the violet and the purple. As we say here in Miami, super cute. It is really a cute flower. All right, guys. Let me see, anything else? There's not a lot to bloom here because in the summer, phals really kind of go dormant. Oh, you know what I did want to show you? I had spoken to you guys about this. This is an invasive orchid that has been found in the Florida Everglades and all up and down the coast, Everglade coast of Florida. And my friend, Brian Loves Orchids, Brian, did a video based on the Everglades. He came down to Miami and I learned of this orchid that is kind of invasive. It just got blown in here, I guess, by winds or bird droppings. And it's a terrestrial orchid, is growing now here in Florida. It almost looks like a phal. And lo and behold, in my property here, we're very close to the Everglades, this was growing under my areca palms, and the gardener found it and said, hey, this is an orchid growing under your tree. He thought it fell from the tree. So I put it in here a year ago, and look, I'm gonna have flowers. I'm finally gonna see what the flower looks like. Now I'll put the name underneath because another one I don't remember. See, these are orchids that I'm not familiar with. So I will remember the name once I start showing them more often, but I'm just happy that I was able to grow it and bloom it, not knowing a thing. Look at that. Very nice. And I ended up putting it in sphagnum moss, not knowing. I figured, you know, it's terrestrial. Let's see if on sphagnum moss it does well. And it did. I did that because of the leaves. It just looked very much like a phal. So I'm like, I'll take a chance and see how well it'll do with phals. Now down here I only have one flower left of this. This is a beautiful Miltonia moraniana. It is a wonderful smelling orchid. It is the only Miltonia that I can have here that will survive. I had to take this out of a pot and put it on a fern root mount, and this is how it does well, because it likes for you to wet it, but it doesn't like to stay wet. And so I brought a lot of these with the rains. I brought them in here because they just don't like to be too wet, and you get root rot, you get bulb rot. It's very difficult to control. Now let's show you a little bit of my Hoyas since we have some time. Hoyas here are doing wonderful also in the summer. This is a Melliflua. Hold on. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful Hoya. This one, when it blooms, oh my God, is it gorgeous. It's just about to open. Look at this one. Look at the crown of this one. Puba calyx. I believe there's a puba calyx. I'm not sure. I don't think there's a puba calyx. Oh, this is I forgot what this is called. I think I have another one over there. I got to get on my game before the season starts. Okay, there's another one. This is the same one. They look so different when they're closed. But it's a pretty big. I got this in Key West for $15, and look at the size of that puppy. This one's about to open. This is oculata. Hold on, focus. It's focusing on the screen way in the back. Oh my God, and it's 4K. You would think 4K usually has more of a... Anyways, here we go. Oh boy. This is not working. That's the only way. Sorry guys, I'm at the mercy of technology here. And when it gets hot like this, like my phone right now, if you touch it, is burning up. When it gets like that, it starts malfunctioning. It doesn't function the same way. It won't focus. It won't. Like I was trying to open up the wide angle, and it wasn't doing it a little while ago. So, anyways, out here I don't really have much in bloom. I do have things in spike, like I have these. Some of my Vandas. I do have my Arachnis is starting to bloom again because the sun is shifting. Remember I showed you guys a while ago that it was over there. Look at how far it came in now. Isn't that crazy? It was over there. And now it's up here. So what happens is this Arachnis orchid starts blooming wherever the sun is hitting it. So because the sun recently was a little bit more this way, it gave me this gorgeous spike. And this is called an Arachnis orchid that doesn't focus. And the name is for the obvious reasons. It looks like a spider. And you know, like I said, these colors for me on an orchid are just perfection. Those cranberry and yellows are very pretty. And this orchid is a tricky one because the reason it's tricky, it likes a lot of sun in order to bloom, but when it gets too much sun, you start getting burnt and yellow leaves. But because, believe it or not, I let some of the weed grow over it, it has protected some of it. I hate it, but it actually did protect a lot of the leaves. And if you look at them now, they're very, very green on the inside. These were all getting yellow. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? That, and then I let the branches grow because I would cut the branches. So I'm going to see how well it blooms now with so much coverage. This one's about to start shooting some serious spikes. Let me see, I was looking down here. There's some spikes in there. These are looking great. No spikes. All these are, by the way, these are all from the Moats orchid. This one's not. This is from Banyang. This was years ago. He gave me a bunch of cuttings from a massive species they were cutting down. He goes, here, put them on your trees. And I did. And I look at this. It's just crazy. Laz and I put them together up here. He goes, come on, I'll help you put them up. He kept a couple. I kept a couple. Now, my Skindaxis, you guys ever seen this? This is what I call Skindaxis, but it's not really a Skindaxis. It's a type of aroid, I think you would call this, or vine that hugs a tree. But this is the first time I see this. Have you guys ever seen this? Is that like a seed pod, maybe? It almost looks like a flower, but I think it's a seed pod. My partner says it's a flower. I think it's a seed pod. It would have already opened by now. Whew, it is scorching. Up here, my white dendrobiums and my Cher's dream. All right, guys, I think that's it. Let me see how much time. 31 minutes. You know what I'm gonna do? Since we went through this pretty quick, I'm gonna get you guys a bonus. I am gonna take you to the fish room, and you're gonna see so many things that are different. By the way, this is turning out beautiful here. Everything has been growing. I think, I don't know if it's next week or the following, it's the Aroid show, the International Aroid Society show in Miami. I will put all the shows that I know that are coming up this year. I'll put them at the very end, so that way you guys can take note. I plan to go to them, including fish shows, because I'm doing reptile and fish shows now. But if you guys can go, it would be fun to meet and greet at the Aroid show. I don't know what day I'm going to go though. Not sure yet. I have to talk with Terry and see. We got to plan this out, because you know we do work and we have to take days off of work, and that costs money. So I have to see what day it is, because I cannot film on Sundays. Sundays is too difficult. What happens is a lot of you that follow me, I end up meeting you guys and taking pictures and talking, and then the filming takes a back seat, and then I lose complete concentration. And I rather just, you know, if I'm going to hang out with you guys, I want to like talk and not be interrupted, right? Like you want to give people that walk was a lot. Sorry guys. What I'm trying to say is you don't want to be talking to people and being interrupted while you're filming, because then you can't really focus on them or on the filming. So I like to do like Sundays just to meet you guys. So guys, I'm sorry that this looks like that. As you can see, new door. We do have a new door. The little guy that kept on breaking out, we finally were able to put a new beautiful patio screen door. My partner did it with our handyman Jorge. And it was a mess, but now everything is kind of picked up. So with 4K, I can't do wide angle, unfortunately, like the way I normally do. But you can kind of see my display tank, how gorgeous it's turned out. I did have to separate some fish. Oops, sorry guys. I was putting that. This is one of my discus. Here, let me brighten you guys up. There you go. Those are those little babies that were really tiny. They're getting pretty big. And so I built this shelf to put more guppy babies and try to organize and separate them. I'm sorry for the reflection. It's just that it's daytime, so these are my Malaysian, I don't know, Malaysian or Indonesia. I forgot where I got those from. I'm forgetting a lot of things. I think I need ginkgo biloba. On top of that, it's kind of early in the day and I've been out in the sun for quite a while. So I really need to get back inside and get a little bit of AC. Now this is my brand new tank. Is my new 65-gallon tank. I bought it from a newfound friend who's a hobbyist now, and he's collecting as well, and he just had a baby, so he told me I can't have this big tank. So I bought it from him, and I put the other one in here because they were fighting. Yeah, this one was getting beat up, and he's too pretty to be beat up. And then this one also was being beat up, and he's like always hiding, thinking that somebody's gonna do something to him. And I got these cute little black neons. They're called black neons. It's like the little cardinals, but these are black with a little bluish silver line going across. And the way these look really good is in schools of 20, 30. I actually got about 40 of them. And I love the way they look. I wish that the lighting would be better through the camera, but it doesn't show as well. So this is my new setup here. Been a lot of work. Up here are gonna be breeder tanks. I'm actually picking up another 10-gallon one today. So that way I can separate the bloodlines and make sure that they don't cross and get contaminated. This is a tank that I'm setting up. It's holding this big piece of wood down that was in the other tank. So I may take it out of there altogether. That's gonna be a divided tank with a divider in the center. And I am going to put a pair of these, my beautiful angelfish. They're pairing off already. So there's the girl and there's the boy. So they paired off, and once they start cleaning and putting their eggs on the leaves, it's time to then put them away. And because what happens is they'll start attacking the other fish because they don't want the other fish to eat the babies. So when it comes to angelfish, when you have several, it's bound that some are going to pair. So if they do pair, you want to separate them and put them in their own aquarium. Now down here, this is a holding tank in case something ever happened, but I had so many babies on this tank that I had to put them in here because the angelfish were eating them. And I felt bad. So I just put them in there, but they're not supposed to be in there. That's going to be for the babies of the angelfish. So that way I can either sell them or trade them off. But that's going to be the tank. It's cycling now. These are all my guppy tanks. There's more guppies here. And I give them these tablets of algae and they go insane. These are all, I think they call these the red cobras. Because I bought these, they had no name on there, and then I asked someone and said, what kind of guppies are these? They said, oh, those are red cobras. But then there's a red dragon that looks a lot like that too. So I don't know. These are purple Moscows. These are one of my favorites, some of my favorite. They're very, very pretty guppy. They're literally purple. Look at that. Another fish that looks like it's an avatar. And these I've been trying very hard to breed a colony, but they've been so delicate and so sensitive. You know, why is it that all the rare and beautiful stuff are so delicate? Like these have died on me and I brought them back, you know, through fries, and then the fries grow and then they die. But I think now I finally got them down. This tank is fully cycled. It's a beautiful tank. And you can't really see because of the reflection, but they've been doing really, really well and giving me a lot of babies. Just like these. These are awesome. These are the purple dragon Dumbo ear. from Indonesia. I kept saying Malaysia, it's Indonesia. Really, really nice, rare as well. You don't see these often. These are not your dad's guppies. These are major crosses. All right, guys. So that is it for the fish room. I'm gonna go back outside. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tour. And there's my little buddy. He's always keeping me company, right, honey? Right, Papa? What you doing over there under the little swing bed? He's the reason why we finally got, and I'm glad, we needed a new door. That door was so old. It's so nice to see it clean and functioning above all. And there's my garden princess. Hey, Mama, come say hi. You got fans. That's Savannah. Hey, Savannah. Did you catch something? Oh my God. I want to show you what she does. This is what I have to live with every day. Mama, leave him alone. Leave him alone. Come here. Oh, leave him alone. Oh my God. So this is what I do most of the time. I try to save them because, hold on, let me see where I'm going to put you. Because anywhere I put him now, she is going to smell him or her. Let me see. Come here, Papa. This summer I've saved so many of the poor creatures. There he goes. All right. Well, that was caught on film. Yep, that is ranch life. That is what we live with here, and I love it. I get to save animals here and there, but you know, cats are cats, and they're gonna do what they do, and you can't reprimand them for it because they're not doing anything wrong. They're doing what they instinctively are supposed to do. But if I can save those animals, I will. All right, everybody, that is it. That is the end of our flowers and fish and saving reptiles for the day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was really fun showing you guys. I've been missing hanging out with you guys. I have to go back into my chat room and respond to you guys because honestly, like I said, we've been so caught up with projects and doing things around the house. And as you can see, my fish room, that was a massive project, an undertaking. So that has taken most of my time. And the reason being is because the season is creeping up. I mean, this year just went by super fast. We're already like what, in October? In September. October is right around the corner. The Redland show is coming. The International Aroid show is coming. And she's mad because I took away her. Come here, Mama. She's looking for it. Come here. I'm sorry. Yeah, she's not happy. I feel bad, but you know what? I just don't want to see them die. And those are good lizards. Those lizards actually eat all the little insects and bugs and larvae and stuff like that. They don't touch your plants or your flowers. They're beautiful lizards. I know they're invasive. They don't belong in Florida, but so far I haven't heard that they've really been destructive to the environment. Actually, they have these little long tongues and they just eat the bugs on the floor. So I don't really want them to be killing them if they are beneficial actually to my environment. But anyway, there's also the Fort Lauderdale show that comes in January, so everything is coming in like a big wave. I hope to see you guys at these shows. I will be attending at the International Aroid show, and I will also be at the Redline show. I am so looking forward to that because I'm missing the orchid shows. We all are, and I think that when we meet over there, everyone's going to be really giddy because we become children at Disney when these shows come by, and we haven't been to them in a long time. All right, no more chatty. I will leave you guys the information of the shows coming up. I will see you next time. I am Nelson. You're watching Nature Nell, and remember to always, always keep it green. I will see you next time. Thank you, Melissa, for my shirt. Love the shirt.